Welcome to the Lakers Lounge. I'm Anthony Irwin, and Kobe's retiring this week. Not sure if you heard. So we thought it'd be a good idea, and it's rarely a good idea, but we thought it'd be a good idea to get the old Lakers Outsiders gang together. It's been forever. It's been way too long. We had tried, or we had said, at the season started that we were going to try to do this during the season. Well,
this technically counts.
It took 79 games, and here we are. We are joined, like I said, Lakers Outsiders guys. Harrison's always here with us, so we'll start with you. Harrison, how are you holding up? You had to watch the Lakers play Houston today. How'd that go for you?
I wrote a lot, and I watched a lot of very bad basketball. I mean, no, Kobe had a throwback today, so it wasn't the worst game I've watched this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the nicest thing I can say about it, I guess.
In the highlights package I saw from NBA TV, because I was watching the Golden State game that just ended a second ago. They showed a possession where Marcelo Huertas was guarding James Harden. I was like, all right, that's how that game went.
I mean, Jordan Clarkson guarded him a couple times. They had D'Angelo Russell on him. They had Kobe on him even a couple times. It's like, who are you going to put on him that he's not going to roast? He ended up getting 20 points in the fourth quarter basically by accident.
And then going from my left to right, the host who took over for me, the guy who filled my tiny little shoes over there at Lakers Outsiders, Gary Kester, how are you doing? How'd the season treat you?
Probably consumed a little more alcohol than I would have liked, but no,
so
it's been.
You fill my shoes.
Yeah,
Well, literally.
It's being the host of the show. I mean, it just comes with the territory, I guess. And I even started using more puns, so either I've just been talking to you too much, or I don't know what's going on with that.
I'm having a terrible impact on the blog. Matt Vazine, I swear to God, one of these days I'm going to get you. We're in year 2. Matt has huge news to announce. He's moving away from In-N-Out. He got into Syracuse Law School, and he's freaking out because he's down to, we're down to our last couple Kobe games, and you're down to your last couple double-doubles.
Yeah, no, I wish I found that a little earlier. I could have had my farewell tour too. I'm on my way out. I only get like a 2 or 3 month heads up. But yeah, I'm gonna be in New York for the next few years. But I mean, in terms of the season, it sucked. But I mean, it's like these last few days, I'd say the last like week or two, it's been mostly focusing on Kobe and just getting ready for it. So it hasn't been as awful, and it was cool to see like a little throwback game today.
And then, last but not least, we have Ryan Keller here, right? Is it? Nope, Pyre.
No, you got it.
I did?
Yeah.
Bang!
We had like a whole discussion on how it's not Calipyre. I remember
It's not? I'm just kidding.
Ryan, how you've focused a lot more on Arizona sports this year. You've done a lot with the U of A.
Yeah.
So that's been nice. You didn't have to focus as much on the Lakers.
Well, I haven't watched a Laker game in like 2 weeks, and it's improved my quality of life tremendously. I'm sleeping better. I have more energy. Like that. I mean, it's as good as like any energy drink out there. Just don't watch that. Just don't watch that garbage team.
You look at the schedule. You just say, "Nope, I'm not going to see that," and all of a sudden you're that much more energetic.
Yep.
But guys, please keep reading Silver Screen and Roll.
It is funny, we got together initially just to talk about how much we wanted the Lakers to lose, and now this season the Lakers lost too much, and we just stopped watching. So, anywho, everybody except Harrison stopped watching, and I was watching. I swear, I was doing the recaps with some. I wasn't pulling Charles Barkley. Like I said, we were going to get together and talk. All Kobe. I lofted the idea before we went on the air if I should just say Kobe for the entire show, say no other words. That was voted down, unfortunately.
81 times. Say Kobe 81 times.
Yeah, there you go. Jalen Rose would block the show. And we decided we'd start with Kobe's impact on the Lakers because I think that's the more we wanted to go negative and then kind of finish with the corny stuff at the very end. I guess I'll frame the conversation, and we'll start with you, Harrison, since you've paid a little bit more attention this year than all of us. With Kobe, it's tough to ignore, and right now it's a little easier to ignore it because we're so close to the finish line. But all year, it was, that big elephant in the room was the Lakers are this bad, largely in part to how they placated him in all of his demands. And has that taken away from your watching him on this farewell tour?
Well, I think it's taken away in the way that it's made the farewell tour so much less meaningful because it's just been a garbage year with a lottery team. Whereas if he would have taken less money, which I don't even necessarily fault him for doing and wanting more money, because I think we all want more money and the most money that we can get. I know the owners want the most money they can get, but it did take away from the farewell tour, obviously, because we're watching him shoot like 40% from the field on the second worst team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Gary, Harrison really quickly alluded to it, but the idea of it's hard to bemoan his decisions. You get the money that you can because the owners are definitely trying to do that. That's a fair point, right?
Yeah, I mean, we all do it in our everyday lives, when you're at work. Like, it's funny because people that, say like, oh, you should have taken less money, and it's like, would you take less money at your work? Like,
yeah,
it's just kind of human nature to get as much as you can. And and Kobe's done so much for the franchise that, a case can certainly be made that he's worth every penny. I mean, you look at like the ticket prices for games this year. People are going just because of him. I mean, I went to Portland just to see Kobe one last time. It was cool to see the young guys and everything, but it's like they're gonna be around for a while, so I wanted to see Kobe, one last time.
Paul Allen appreciated that.
Ryan, how much can Kobe be blamed, do you think, for the current state of the Lakers? If you had to break it down percentage points wise, would it be higher than 50%?
See, it's like I'd probably say less than that because, like, even if he would have taken less money, like Dirk took less money, for example, and like the Mavericks still weren't able to build. I mean, they were able to build a decent team around him, but nothing that was going to be a title contender or anything like that. So it's like, even if Kobe took, let's say, $12 million instead of 24 or 25, like, would the Lakers have been able to build a team around him? Like, I honestly don't think so. Or, I mean, and if the team was a 30-win team instead of a 16-win team, like, I still don't think it'd be that big of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And Mavs fans are having to watch knowing that the hammer's going to drop at any point now, where they're just going to be kind of bereft of young assets, and they're still going to have to go through their time being awful, most likely.
Right, Matt. The whole idea of watching Kobe one time before he stops or before he retires is kind of lost on me to a certain extent because my thinking was I don't want to watch him in this state, and this isn't how I want to. Exactly. But you've gone to a couple games. Are you happy that you went to those games? Do you regret the decision? Does it take away, or do you think it'll take away from thinking back on his career down the road?
No, but I mean, you can definitely make that argument. I know I still, as bad as the games have been this year, I still am glad I went. I'm going to the last game. Everyone's told me, like, I've considered selling it, not too heavily, but people have told me. But I just feel like, even though this is not the way we thought he would like end his career, it's still something that is going to be super memorable. So I'm gonna end up going, but you can make a case for either side on that, absolutely.
Right. It's tough. At the end of the day, and we'll talk about a little bit more later about what Kobe means to us and the impact he's had on basketball and the sport and the culture in its entirety in a bit. But yeah, I don't know. I've been kind of jaded with this farewell tour, and I don't know if I'm too much so. I might be a little too much so. I'm told constantly on Twitter that I'm too negative about the situation. but it's hard not for me to think about that. We'll go ahead. Anything else that you guys have to add on that, or we can go ahead and jump into the more positive stuff?
Well, I was just going to add to what Matt said and just say that there was when the Lakers were playing the Knicks and like Jose Calderon was on Kobe and like he was actually guarding him like effectively. It was like that was really sad. So it was like at that point I didn't really want to watch him play. But then when the Lakers played the Celtics, like I think it was last week, and he hit a couple of his like signature fall away jumpers, it was like okay, like this is like pretty fun to watch. So I think like this season we've gotten a little bit of both where he looks horrible and then occasionally he'll show us a glimpse of like his old self, and I guess that's kind of makes it worth it.
Even today he was okay. Like yeah, he played pretty well today, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. He finished with 35?
Yeah.
He shot pretty well. 35, yeah.
35? Okay.
But it's perfect that he would do that to Dwight's team too. Like that's
apparently that's like one of his best averages against the Rockets this year. He's averaged like 22 points on like decently efficient shooting.
That's Kobe's my hero.
He flies to Germany before every game against the Rockets.
All right, so we'll go ahead. We'll lighten this up a little bit, but I'm interested to see that article. You know, right now everybody's writing about, you know, here I am, a 30-year-old dude sitting up late at night writing on my computer, and this is the impact that Kobe had on me, right? But what I'm interested is, or I want to read that article and see how loud the counter argument to it gets. At some
you should
point.
write it. I don't think any of us want to write that.
My mentions are already tire fire because of Dr. Nation. I'm cool with not unleashing that on myself. All right, so favorite Kobe moments, and we'll start the other way this time. Ryan, your favorite Kobe regular season moment? I feel like the first one's pretty obvious here.
I would say. For me, a play that stands out is the game-winning three hitting, or 3 or 2. I think I'm pretty sure it was a 3 against the Heat, like the shot that he banked in. Just because that was during that time, like when Kobe took the final shot, I always expected to go in. And that one he took like an off balance with Dwayne Wade right in his face, and like I was watching that game and I wasn't like, oh no, terrible shot. Like I expected to go in, and it banked in. It was amazing.
I thought his answer afterward was perfect too, because I think my favorite aspect of Kobe, I've said this multiple times, my least favorite athlete is Russell Wilson, because he's a liar. That's not who Russell Wilson is when he's giving those interviews. And I thought Kobe after the game saying that was a bullshit shot, that was complete luck, was incredible. That's a great moment. All right, Matt, your favorite regular season moment?
For me, it's actually, I don't know how popular a pick this is, but 2004, the 3 against Portland to clinch the division, where he's like, it's still I think the craziest shot he's ever hit, at least in the regular season, and he hit one like right before overtime to send it to overtime over the Kobe stopper. So like both those shots combined, I would say is my favorite regular season moment, especially to clinch a division like at the buzzer. That's kind of crazy. Right.
That was nuts. I think that's gonna be tough to beat. Harrison, do you have one?
It's got to be the 81-point game, right?
That's where I thought we were going first. That's
like
it's too obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually the Heat one that Ryan said was actually the one that I was thinking of going with, because I didn't think anybody was going to remember that one, and yeah, everyone would cite the obvious ones. But I don't know how we can be having this discussion without talking about the 81-point game. I mean, he scored 81 points in an NBA game. That's a real thing that happened.
And he didn't have to lower the game settings to rookie mode either.
Yeah. Turn up all the sliders.
They were playing against the Toronto Toronto.
Okay, yeah. So my point.
Okay, so he turned the coaching slider down to 0, but
I feel like that's one of the few NBA moments where people legitimately remember exactly where they were. You don't really talk to anybody on Twitter that doesn't remember exactly where they were for that, right? Like Gary, do you remember? That'd be great if you didn't. But do you remember where you were?
Yeah, I mean, I was just at home, and I don't remember how old I was. I think I was 13 or 14, and yeah, I just remember like dreading school the next day, and because it was a Sunday, and just remember watching it, and I was like, I guess I almost took Kobe for granted a little bit because he had so many monster performances that, like, while it was going on, I was just like, oh, this is just what Kobe does, like, no big deal.
Uh-huh.
And like he hits like 60 and 70, and it's like, holy crap, like this thing is like, this is unbelievable. And then when he hit the 80-point mark, I was kind of at a loss for words. Like, it didn't even seem real,
Matt, do you think it'll ever be done again? 81 or more, I guess?
I don't think we'll see someone score 81 points in our lifetime in a game.
I don't think so either. Because I can't even look around the league right now and see who would do it.
No one's come close. Like, that's the thing. No one's even come close since.
I would say Curry, just because if he shoots so many threes. Like, I mean, obviously it would take like a ridiculous performance where he hits like, like almost he'd have to hit over 20 threes.
Yeah, it has to be like a close game too. That's the thing. Like, we were bad, so
you got to be. Well, that was the thing I remember. Well, I don't remember most about that game, but I remember they were losing to the Raptors. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing that made that performance so great is like that was basically needed to win that game. Like, maybe not some of those points at the end because it was like a little bit out of hand, but I mean, they were down for like a large portion of the game. Like, they needed that performance to win.
I guess another performance I want to throw in would be that game against, I think, Seattle, where he hit 12 threes. Because it's like, you look at like Steph Curry right now, and like just the tear he's been on the last couple of years, and like, I mean, even he hasn't been able to break that record yet. Like, he might be able to one of these days, but like that's a record that's still tied.
Yeah, tied this year. Yeah.
Hey, don't forget Donyell Marshall. I feel bad for that guy because every time that record comes up, it's like, oh, it's Kobe's record. No one cares about that guy.
Donyell Marshall is sitting at home on his couch. He's like, no, that's me. I did it too.
I always thought that's the record Kobe would go after more than any other one was because he's tied with Donyell effing Marshall. All right.
Games this year, it looked like he was trying for it.
Yeah, Gary, is that your regular season moment then, or do you have another one?
No, mine would be 81, just because it's something that's just so absurd. But no, there's just so many moments to choose from that, if he didn't have 81, it would be so hard to actually pick one, just because there's been so many great ones.
Right. I think if I had to pick one, it's kind of obscure, but he hit a game winner against Milwaukee. I don't know if you guys remember that.
That was like, are you talking like the one that was in like 2010 or 2009?
2009, I think, right?
Right. And what I liked the most about it, and what I thought summed up Kobe, in that singular shot, was the game before that. I believe he missed a shot, like that exact shot, to lose, and you just knew at that time that was peak Kobe, right? That's about as good as Kobe ever played, and he could get any shot on a basketball court to get himself open. But he just said, no, you know what? I'm going to go to that exact spot. I'm going to make the exact same move, and I'm going to make it this time because I need to prove to myself and everybody else that if presented that moment again, I probably should have made that last one, right? And what I liked about Kobe in his career was that he's not content with just the performances. He makes statements based off of that performance, where sometimes you see a player have a really good game, and then afterwards it's like, yeah, I just got kind of hot this game. But this year, like evidenced by Dwight Howard being, torching the Rockets or trying to torch the Rockets every time they played, Kobe's telling Dwight Howard, tell me how my ass tastes. Like, that's what he's going for in all of those games. All right, so favorite postseason memory. Gary, we'll start with you this time.
Well, I'm sure one of you guys will say it, so I'll skip it. But I guess for me, it was probably, I guess I'll go maybe something a little different. The 2000 NBA Finals in Game 4, when Shaq fouled out and Kobe just took over down the stretch and basically willed the Lakers to a victory as like a 20 or 21-year-old to make it a 3-1 series. Just always stands out because that to me was like his coming out moment as like, okay, like this guy is the future of this franchise. Like he is going to be like a truly great player and like I just always loved that moment because when the best player went down with foul trouble, like he just stepped up. He wasn't afraid of the moment and just took over.
Wasn't he kind of dinged up too? Didn't he kind of have like an ankle thing going too?
Yeah, he missed the previous game because of his ankle. Yeah.
Jalen Rose him, right? That was the game where Rose put his foot on him.
Yeah.
Closest he's ever come to stopping Kobe.
Harrison, your favorite postseason memory?
It's a weird one, but it's Game 7 of 2010, and it's just had to get you back, Ryan, because we lose Anthony. Okay, it's just because of the stakes, I think, and just the personal attachment to that game. I think that was like I was never a bigger Laker fan, I think, than I was that day. And I just remember I was watching it at my best friend's house with his uncle was there. My best friend had left for some reason. And it was like me and his uncle were watching that game. He had been talking crap to me the whole like halftime and stuff. And so when the Lakers went on and won that game in the fourth quarter, I probably came pretty close to getting kicked out of their house for the amount of profanity that I was screaming at his uncle. And then I remember the dinner afterwards. We're just sitting there, and I'm talking about the Lakers the whole time, and this dude's just sitting there, like, eating his steak, really angry. Like,
did he order a Kobe beef steak? Was he eating that?
No, we should have got those in retrospect, but.
All right, Matt, your favorite Kobe playoff moment?
All right, I'll pick something different because that's more fun. It's close, but I'm gonna go with Game 7, 2000 West Finals against Portland. I think that fourth quarter. I still watch that fourth quarter like occasionally from time to time, just because it's like still so crazy to me.
Right. That was a comeback,
but most likely I would probably have to pick Boston too, but for the sake of the argument, I would say that would be the other one.
Ryan?
Yeah, I have two. Both were against the Suns. The one there where Kobe hit the three and he patted Alvin Gentry on the back.
That's so great.
Because no other player would do so. What other player would do that? And then the one where he hit the game winner in I believe it was 2007, as time expired, and basically pulled up at the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
he held out his fist for like 5 minutes.
I don't think that fist ever actually came down. They just cut that arm off. It's still stuck like this.
Yeah. That's like the statue.
The thing is, I rewatched that play, and the guys that are like hugging him, it was like Luke Walton. I think Smush Parker. I mean, it was just a bunch of scrubs. It's like, oh my god.
It was Vic the Brick too, the local radio host with the hat.
Yeah, the fur hat. Those are great. I think if I had to pick, I think my favorite Kobe playoff moment, the moment where I was like just completely dumbfounded by how great that guy was against the Orlando Magic. The Lakers were, I think, down, and they were making their little. It was a little comeback. It was finally capped off by Fisher's three to tie it and send it into overtime. But I think right before, what's that?
I think it was Game 4, right?
Yep, that sounds about right. And I think it was right before that. Kobe had a drive where he spun to the middle, and I have no idea how he saw Pau, but he threw this pass, behind his head that caught Pau directly in stride. Pau dunks it. And, everybody thinks Kobe shooting, Kobe scoring, Kobe, an occasional person will say Kobe locking down somebody, because that was also really fun to watch, was him play defense when, hand-checking rules weren't so stringent. But that pass, which nobody gives credit to Kobe for his passing ability, and the pass that he made there, I still, to this day, I've watched that play I can't tell you how many times. I have no effing clue how he saw Kyle streaking through the basket. It's insane. Go back and watch that play. And I don't know many players in the history of basketball who are able to make that play. And not only that, but like picture Steve Nash dunking on somebody to win a game, right? Because dunking wasn't Nash's best skill set, right? So you would anticipate maybe Nash would beat somebody with a shot or with a pass, but he wouldn't beat somebody with a dunk. Kobe beat somebody doing something that nobody thought he could do, was make that kind of pass. So that was pretty.
Not only that nobody thought he could do that his whole reputation is people say he never passes.
Right, and he makes that pass.
Yeah.
That was insane. All right, so
speaking of which, that kind of reminds me of also Game 7 when he gave up the ball to Ron Artest at the time. Because I remember that play because when Artest shot the ball, I was like, no, I'm pretty sure everyone was like, no, yeah. Because I just never liked when he shot. I mean, he's still on the team, so. But I've never liked when he shot the ball, and the fact that Kobe passed of all people.
Even he in his post-game press conference was like, Kobe, pass me the ball.
Yeah. And then,
well, I think there is the clip, right, of Kobe actually having that reaction of
and then when Sasha was at the free throw line and Kobe he had like a worried face too, and when he was like shooting the free throws that iced the game.
That whole game was incredible.
They don't call
that was the worst game. Like the result was great, but that was the most antagonizing game.
Torturing.
It was so ugly.
My friend's not going to like that I'm doing this to him, but I'm going to completely sell him out. My good buddy Jamal, who is one of my best friends, one of the best guys I'll ever know, but he's a big-time Celtics fan, and he came over for the game, and all game he was talking all this shit. It was just nonstop. The Lakers were down by 13, I think. Was it in the fourth or in the third when they were down by 13? Third quarter when they're down by 13. And he's one of the things he did was, I'm stirring the pot, I'm stirring the pot, I'm stirring the pot. Now pot's a trophy, and it's one of the worst trash talkings I've ever heard. But it was working. I was getting angry. And the Lakers wind up winning, and Jamal disappeared into the background. I have no idea to this day where he went.
What's funny is that this is how Anthony introduces Jamal when you meet him at his house. Story. And Jamal still gets angry about it.
That game was incredible. All right, my favorite postseason memory for Kobe. Oh no, I already did that. We're good.
We went through. Yeah, honorable mention 2002 West Finals Game 7 at Arco. I mean, that just had to be thrown in there because that was crazy.
The insane thing is we all came up with different ones, and there are still way more to talk about.
Was Game 7 at Arco, was that the food poisoning game?
I think so, right? Because
there was that series
situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Game 7, but Shaq fouled. That was I think Shaq fouled out, and it went to overtime.
Yeah, his career is incredible. Now I really wanted to lighten thing up and talk about the favorite Kobe moment. I have it listed as funny, but it's just for me what sums up Kobe. And for me, I'll start and we'll go Ryan next. For me, Steve Nash and Dwight Howard had just gotten to LA, and these guys are in everything, right? And Time Warner was just about to launch. They were just launching their channel. So they had this big block party thing that they televised. And in it, the players would give brief interviews. They were introducing all this brand new set. So they had Dwight Howard and they had Steve Nash, and then Geeter, I think, was the host. And he was taking these guys through hey, what does it mean to be a Laker? All that funny stuff. And I'm almost positive that Kobe asked Geeter or forced Time Warner to ask this question. But with Steve Nash and Dwight Howard sitting right there, Geeter asks each player, plays the clip of Kobe dunking on him. It's the Kobe dunking on Dwight one is incredible. And then the dunk that Kobe had going down the right side of the key that Nash tried to take a charge on. I think Kobe hung on the rim with one arm or something crazy. Uh, both plays are played for Dwight Howard and Steve Nash, and Nash took it all in stride, as you would expect him to. He's the nicest person I think that's ever existed. But Dwight Howard was so salty. He was so angry, and for me, again, it's what makes Kobe Kobe is that he would tell Time Warner, all right, we traded for these guys, and they're going to get a lot of limelight, but I want to make sure we start them off on the right foot, and they know whose team it is. I want Dwight Howard to throw up in his face, and it was incredible. That's as Kobe a moment as you're going to find. Ryan, your favorite funny Kobe moment?
Definitely when Matt Barnes was inbounding the ball and he just tried to basically pretend like he's going to throw the ball at his face, and obviously a normal human being would flinch or do something. Like Kobe basically acted like nothing happened, which, like, if you watch the replay of that, like he didn't blink, he didn't like back up, he just he was already moving around, and Barnes did the fake, and he's obviously not human, because every human would have had some sort of reaction.
Or hypothesis, he's actually Daredevil, and he lost his powers the last couple of years, and that explains the shooting.
Yeah.
Matt, what's your favorite funny Kobe moment? Kobe.
Funny? I don't know how funny it is, but I mean, I thought it was hilarious at the time when Raja Bell just clotheslined him in the playoff series. He gets up and he's just dusting his shoulder to the crowd and fingering you can't do that. And then he comes and hits 3 ridiculous shots right after that. And you're just you're not a human being. What are you doing? You just got clotheslined, and then he just comes and we lost the game, but it should have been a blowout, and he just made it interesting for a second. So that stood out to me.
Well, I think.
Go ahead.
Wait, is everyone gone?
Not me yet.
It's not that important, but go.
You want me to go first? Because I might steal yours again.
No, you won't.
It was the ring count to the crowd in Dallas.
Yeah,
that's a great one. And that sums up Kobe Twitter too. Kobe
it was the perfect Kobe moment, because in that moment he was actually his fan's spirit animal, like they always act like he is on Twitter, and he proved that these Kobe fanboys everywhere, they were right to always bring up the count the rings because he actually does it when he gets booed, or fans are, I forget what they were even chanting at him or what fans were yelling at him, but I mean, there's that, and then there's on Twitter, another time against Dallas, coincidentally, when Mark Cuban had said the Lakers should have amnestied Kobe Bryant. And it was 10th tweet ever, and he tweets, amnesty that. I don't know, 40 or 50 on them. I don't remember how much he had.
He dropped a 40-point triple-double on him.
Yeah.
Which was insane.
And it was it wasn't even just amnesty that, it was amnesty, all caps, that.
Didn't he license a hashtag rings as his shirt? Yeah, I feel
I know he has one. I don't know if it's
Well, when I interned at his camp, in our group photo, he's literally wearing a shirt that says "Ring Collector." I'm just seriously, man.
That's incredible. All right, Gary, what's your favorite Kobe funny moment?
I guess I'll just, one that sticks out to me, and it's actually my Twitter avatar, is when Shaq was playing for the Celtics, and him and Kobe had kind of been jawing at each other a little bit. I think this was 2011, and Kobe pump faked and got Shaq up in the air and hit the shot and got the foul, and he just gave Shaq that look that was like you were saying, it was just perfect, because Kobe's always been such a great trash talker, and even Shaq was just like, damn it, man! He knew he had gotten got.
Perfect. I wanted to add just really quickly, honorable mention, tying along with Ryan's. But did you guys ever see the clip of the deer from the Bucks mascot guy trying to scare Kobe? And he just keeps walking along. He's a freaking robot. He's an alien. He's a robot. He's an alien robot. I don't know what was going on there. That was incredible. I don't know how he doesn't flinch. All right,
I was just gonna say one last honorable mention is the scowl, in the I think it was the 2000. Like, when did that? Because remember, the first time I remember it like being so common was like the 2009 playoffs. Because like
Oh, the
every
underbite thing?
like they call it like
Kobe
the
face?
scowl. Yeah, like that was called like the scowl.
The
Yeah,
underbite.
Mamba face.
Yeah, like that's like such a lame face, but for him, like it's cool.
He did it.
Can I throw another one out there? I forget which team this was for. I think it was those same later the repeat Lakers, not the three-peat Lakers in 2009, 2010. But he used to hiss for the ball like an actual.
Oh yeah.
He would make a hissing sound.
Yeah. Or to get somebody's attention, you know.
Yeah.
Just tell him that he needs to pass him the ball after the play's over. That's great.
Can you imagine what's going through your mind to make you decide, like, you know what, I'm not going to call ball. You know what's going to confuse the defense? Is if I'm just like...
That kind of reminds me, too, of when he used to say him and Powell would, like, speak Spanish so the defenses would have no idea what they were saying. And then he would speak Italian with Sasha.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's, like, a pretty cool thing that people, like, overlook is just the fact that he, like, speaks multiple languages. And it's, like, the players that he had on his team, he actually, like, made an effort to, like, speak in their language.
Mm-hmm. Although Sasha isn't Italian. But, yeah, point taken.
That's what they spoke.
But they both spoke it. It was
Yeah.
meeting
Right.
halfway.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
I
couldn't you also see Toby telling Sasha, "Hey, you look Italian. We're gonna speak Italian." All right.
Sasha had to get the Rosetta Stone for that season. It's like, I already learned how to speak English.
All right. We're gonna wrap up here. We're gonna go super duper cliche and corny and sappy. So get the tissues ready if you're listening to this tomorrow or whenever it airs. I guess I'll start and you guys can kind of build off of it. But for me, what Kobe means to me is the way we talk about sports is different. It's not that, you know, everybody's blogging, because the blogging I think was coming no matter what. That's not you know, I was going to write about the Lakers no matter what because I love the Lakers, but I think Kobe forces us to think in nuance. And I think at a time where, you know, the Stephen A. Smiths and the Skip Bayless get rich off of being morons on TV, I think Kobe's lasting impact would be kind of cool if his lasting impact was, hey, let's also think about the shades of gray occasionally and not be complete morons and see how that gets us respect when we're actually sharing our opinion. So in that, you know, for that, I'm really thankful because I don't know if very many other athletes, maybe, you know, I in the current generation, I don't think there is anybody else who forces us to think in nuance the way he does. And who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Go ahead.
I think the whole farewell tour thing, just to tie it back to the beginning, I don't think that you get this without having made a tremendous impact on the league. They go to every city, and every single team has multiple players breathlessly talking about how Kobe was their favorite player growing up. And I don't know, I guess we're probably going to see that with LeBron at some point. We're going to see that with Stephen Curry at some point. But it just doesn't happen very often, where you're almost every player in the league is saying that you were their favorite player growing up.
Almost the only one saying that or not saying it is Dwight. He's the only guy.
Dwight's like, no, I was always a bigger fan of Shaq. Right, Shaq? Are we cool now? Are we cool?
Gary, what do you got to add to Kobe's impact on us or on you individually?
I mean, Kobe was my childhood, you know? I mean, you know, I was born in 92, like he joined the league in 96, so like ever since I started watching basketball, Kobe's always been there, you know, so it's going to be so weird next year to not have him there. And, you know, there's definitely times where I think I took him for granted just because I kind of inherited him as a fan. And, you know, there was always so many moments, you know, where like things might not have looked great for the Lakers, but because they had Kobe, I expected him to bail them out. You know, there was so many moments like that where it was like I kind of took him for granted, but you know, he was my childhood, and like I don't know really Lakers basketball without Kobe. So it's going to be really weird next year, and I've just always loved his mentality. You know, he could be 0 for 15, and he's not going to stop shooting. Like, he believes the next one's going in. And, you know, I honestly, I wish more players thought like that. It might not be the most efficient way to play the game, but I've always admired how confident he was, and just the time that he always put into becoming really who he is. And he's a remarkable player, but he's an incredible human being too.
I find it ironic that you admire his desire to keep shooting even if he's missing, but you always tell me to stop telling jokes when mine miss.
That's because you'll never make.
There's a difference. Kobe's made one once in his
Yeah.
life.
Matt, what does Kobe mean to you?
To build off what Gary said, I'd say the mentality and attitude and work ethic, I'd say those three have stood out. Like, one thing that's always stood out for me, and it's so cheesy, was right after the three-peat ended, we lost to the Spurs. You know, Jim Gray's interviewing him, and he's like, you know, Kobe, what are you going to do to get back to, like, being a champion? And no hesitation, he's like, I'm going to push myself to exhaustion, like, right away. You know, it's like he's been on such a three-year high, you know, with the three-peat, that, you know, he wasn't even used to, like, losing. It'd been so long that even at the time, you know, his first response was, I'm going to push myself to exhaustion to come back. So pretty much Kobe's work ethic, mentality are just things that, you know, I try to, like, even use in my everyday life, just because it's so inspiring.
It is crazy. He gets by with saying a lot of cliched stuff, but you know that he actually means it. You know, if the average person said, "I'm going to push myself to exhaustion," you'd be like,
Yeah, imagine if one of us walked around saying these things. It would sound so corny.
Right.
Like, Harrison, what are you going to go do today? I'm going to go work on my craft. I'm not leaving my computer until I put up 100 articles, because I can't stop until I'm the best.
If anything, we laugh at the people, you know, in our little group DM when we see, you know, so and so tweeting out, "I'm about that work life." We're just like, shut up.
We didn't actually get to work.
All right, Ryan, you go ahead and wrap this up. What does Kobe mean to you?
Well, honestly, because it's similar to what Gary said, except I was born in 1995, and Kobe obviously entered the league in 96. And I started liking sports in general, like in 2000, 2001, and obviously that's when, like, the Kobe and Shaq years were in their prime. So naturally, I followed them, and I got, like, when I was like 5, I got like a little Kobe basketball that I used to, like, play with outside all the time. So from there, like, I don't know, without the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, if I would have ever been a big a basketball fan as I am now. And I'm pretty confident, because I grew up in the Bay Area, like, I'm pretty confident that I wouldn't have been a Lakers fan. So, honestly, like, that's basically the impact he's had.
Great stuff. This was a lot of fun. I was a little skeptical about a full Kobe podcast, but I think it turned out well. I hope people listening when it does air really enjoy it. Thank you very much. We'll probably record a couple more Lakers Outsiders podcasts or themed podcasts as we head into the off season, because there's finally stuff to talk about. We'll at least throw a party. We'll have a 30-second podcast where we all take a shot because Byron Scott gets fired.
Hopefully that happens. I mean,
And if he doesn't, we'll take lots of shots.
Yeah, it'll be a longer podcast. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. Thank you guys for hopping on today, and I look forward to doing this tomorrow, and or for, you know, as we head into the off season, and somehow we got to get through Kobe's last couple games, finally ending on Wednesday. His career is over on Wednesday. That's weird to say.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks.